My friends, there is a law that governs all prosperity, and it is not written in the stock market, nor hidden in the balance sheets of the world. It is written within the heart. The greatest investment one can make after 50, or indeed, at any age, is not in gold, land, or funds, but in the renewing of the mind. The mind is the treasury of life, and every thought is a coin that buys your future. When the world tells you that time has passed, that opportunities are behind you, know this truth: divine law knows no age. The fountain of youth is not found in a bottle or a cream, but in the consciousness that refuses to grow old in thought. For what you believe, you become. If you believe your best days are gone, the law will make it so. But if you declare, my good is still unfolding, the universe will rush to prove you right. Invest in thoughts that strengthen, not weaken. Speak words that prosper, not diminish. Each word is a seed, and your garden is never too barren to bloom again. Many souls, when they reach the middle of life, begin to count what they have lost. They say, I am too late. And so they lock the gates of their own abundance. But the wise investor does not count losses, he plants new seeds. For the law of increase responds only to expectancy. Expect good, and good will multiply. Let not fear of the future rob you of your faith in divine supply. Fear is the counterfeit of faith. It drains the energy that could have been used to create miracles. Say instead, everything I need comes to me in divine order. You do not have to chase opportunity. It will find you when your vibration is right. There is no shortage in the divine storehouse. The only scarcity is in man's belief. After 50, the world may whisper that one should slow down, settle, and shrink. But the spirit within says, rise up. You are entering the harvest season, not the sunset. The years you have walked have seasoned your soul. You have learned, fallen, risen, and now you possess wisdom no youth can buy. That wisdom is your most powerful capital. Use it, sow it, share it. Teach others what you have learned, and the law of compensation will multiply your influence and your income. Do not measure your future by your bank account. Measure it by your faith account. When faith is full, lack cannot enter. When gratitude overflows, worry has no room. Thank the divine for every new day, and you will attract more to be thankful for gratitude is the magnet of miracles. Perhaps your investments in the past did not yield what you hoped. Do not mourn the lost years. Nothing is truly lost. Every experience was a deposit in the bank of wisdom. The divine accountant keeps perfect balance. What seems taken away will return in greater form when you release regret and embrace renewal. Your health, too, is an investment. Speak life into your body. Say, every cell of me is alive with divine energy. The body responds to belief more powerfully than to medicine. Age is but a number when the spirit is young. You are not growing old. You are unfolding. You are not declining. You are refining. The best investors know that compound interest builds with time. So it is with the soul. The longer you live, the richer your consciousness becomes. If you keep your thoughts aligned with truth, love, and expectancy. Do not follow the world's charts of retirement and decline. Follow divine timing, which is eternal and limitless. Many are busy investing in markets that rise and fall. The wise invest in consciousness, which only rises. For as within, so without. When your inner wealth grows, outer wealth must follow. Declare daily, I invest in faith, not fear. I invest in love, not lack. I invest in divine wisdom, and it pays eternal dividends. This is the one investment that never depreciates, never crashes, never loses value. It multiplies in ways unseen, drawing opportunities, health, and joy into your life. The soul that knows this secret walks in perpetual abundance, untouched by the tides of time. So, to those over 50, the call is not to withdraw from life but to reinvest in it. With new vision, new faith, and renewed expectancy. You are not too late, you are right on time. The divine investor never closes the account. Your best returns are still accruing, if you will believe it so. The greatest investment after 50 is the renewal of the mind. For the mind is the true treasury from which all riches flow. Many people spend their younger years chasing external wealth, building careers, and collecting possessions, yet neglect the inner wealth that governs all outer gain. The years may pass, but the law remains eternal. What you think, you create; what you feel, you attract; what you imagine, you become. At 50, The world may tell you that your prime has passed, but divine truth whispers that your prime is eternal. The body may change, but the spirit within is ageless. The mind, when renewed, can recreate life anew, just as surely as the dawn follows the night. There comes a sacred turning point in life, when one must cease to measure success by the years behind, and begin to measure it by the light within. The mind that is fixed upon limitation begins to see the world through the eyes of lack. But the renewed mind looks through the eyes of faith, and faith sees opportunity even in what the world calls decline. Renewal of the mind means to cleanse it of every false belief that has been planted by fear, time, or disappointment. It means to uproot the weeds of regret and self-doubt, and to plant new seeds of expectancy, gratitude, and joy. Each thought is a seed, and the soil of the soul never ceases to grow what is planted. If you have sown seeds of worry and age, you will reap their fruit. But if you now choose to sow seeds of youth, faith, and divine power, you will harvest renewal in every aspect of your being. The renewal of the mind is not achieved through struggle, but through surrender. It is not an effort of the will but an alignment with truth. The truth is that you are not your years, your titles, your possessions, or your past. You are a divine expression of infinite intelligence, and that intelligence knows no decline. It is ever expanding, ever creating, ever renewing. When the mind returns to that truth, it becomes a magnet for vitality, ideas, and prosperity. The person who renews their mind after 50 becomes like a tree that, though seasoned by storms, bears sweeter fruit because its roots have grown deep. Life does not withdraw its gifts at a certain age. It only waits for the consciousness that is ready to receive them anew. To renew the mind is to refuse to rehearse the language of limitation. Many people after 50 begin to speak of aches, losses, and endings. They say, "I am too old to start again," or "My time has passed." These are not facts. They are affirmations, and the law of mind takes them as instructions. Every word you speak is a command to the invisible forces that shape your reality. When you declare limitation, the law must obey. When you declare renewal, the law must obey. Therefore, guard your words as treasures, for they are investments in your future. Begin each day by speaking life over yourself. I am renewed in mind and spirit. My path is bright and full of divine opportunities. Speak these words until they become your belief. For belief is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. The renewal of the mind also requires forgiveness, for no new life can grow in a soil poisoned by resentment. Many people carry the burden of old hurts, disappointments, and guilt. These emotions bind the soul to the past, draining its creative power. To forgive is not to excuse, but to release. It is to open the door of your heart, and let divine peace flow in. When you forgive, you free yourself from the chains of memory, and make room for miracles. The renewed mind is a forgiving mind, and the forgiving mind is a prosperous one, for prosperity flows through peace. At 50, the world may have taught you to expect decline, but divine law teaches you to expect resurrection. The same power that renews the spring after winter can renew your life after loss. The body obeys the mind, and when the mind is filled with life, the body reflects it. Say often, "Every cell of my being is filled with divine vitality." Speak it, believe it, feel it. You are not aging, you are awakening. Each day can bring new vitality when you cease to identify with years and begin to identify with the eternal spirit within you. The mind renewed in truth is like a fountain that never dries, for it draws from the infinite source. When the mind is renewed, your relationship with time itself changes. You no longer count days as steps toward decline but as opportunities for expression. You begin to live in the eternal now, where all power resides. Worry fades because you understand that divine order governs your path. Regret fades because you recognize that nothing was wasted. Every trial refined your faith. Every loss taught you the law of detachment. You realize that your past has prepared you perfectly for the abundance that now awaits. The renewed mind looks forward, not backward, knowing that life is a continuous unfoldment of good. The renewal of the mind is the secret to perpetual youth. For age begins not in the body but in the thought. When you cease to expect decline, you cease to experience it. When you cease to fear time, you cease to feel its weight. The universe mirrors your consciousness. If you feel young, you attract vitality. If you feel rich, you attract opportunity. The mind is the true investment that compounds daily when fed with gratitude, faith, and imagination. You may have spent decades investing in the outer world, but now is the time to invest inwardly. Turn your attention from appearance to essence, from fear to faith, from doubt to divine knowing. Renewal also comes from new learning. The mind, like a muscle, strengthens when used. Explore new ideas, develop new skills, travel new paths of thought. Do not let habit become your prison. Curiosity is the spirit's way of reminding you that life is still unfolding. Each time you learn something new, you renew the pathways of your mind and invite new opportunities. The divine plan always provides fresh inspiration for those who remain open to receive it. And above all, the renewal of the mind comes through trust. Trust that the universe has not forgotten you, that your dreams are still valid, and that divine timing is perfect. Even when doors close, trust that new ones are being prepared. Even when delays occur, trust that unseen forces are aligning for your highest good. The renewed mind does not struggle. It surrenders to divine wisdom and walks in peace. For peace is the soil from which abundance grows, and faith is the sunlight that causes it to bloom. When you live in this state of inner renewal, life responds with outer blessings, for the inner and outer are one. Faith, not fear, determines your divine dividends, for every soul is an investor in the unseen. Life itself is a market of thought, and whatever currency you place upon the altar of belief multiplies and returns to you. Faith is the golden coin of the divine economy, while fear is its counterfeit. One attracts supply, the other repels it. When faith reigns, life expands. When fear governs, doors close. The law of mind does not discriminate between rich and poor, young and old, it simply reflects belief. What you expect, you experience. The one who invests in faith receives divine dividends of peace, abundance, health, and fulfillment, while the one who spends energy on fear receives only the shadow of what might have been. Faith is not merely hoping for good, it is the knowing that good already is. It is the quiet assurance that divine order governs all things. It does not waver when appearances are bleak, nor does it doubt when progress seems slow. Faith is the light that shines through uncertainty and calls unseen blessings into form. The faithful mind says, "Though I do not see the way is being made." This attitude of divine confidence creates magnetic power, drawing every needed resource into one's path. Fear, on the other hand, is the shadow that blocks the light. It speaks of loss, limitation, and danger. It rehearses all that could go wrong, and in doing so, it invites those very outcomes. After 50, many people begin to lean toward fear rather than faith. They fear decline, they fear change, they fear that time has robbed them of opportunities. Yet it is not age that steals abundance, it is fear that locks it away. Faith is timeless, fear is the illusion of time. When you walk by faith, you step outside the boundaries of age and into the eternal flow of life. The divine law does not count your years, it counts your vibration. The vibration of faith is youth, vitality, and expansion. The vibration of fear is contraction, stagnation, and decay. Choose faith and you align with increase. Choose fear and you align with decrease. Every thought of fear is an investment in loss. Every thought of faith an investment in gain. The universe multiplies what you give attention to. For attention is prayer. If you dwell on what you lack, you purchase more lack. If you dwell on what is possible, you draw the possible into manifestation. Faith says, there is always enough. Fear says, there is never enough. And so the faithful live in plenty while the fearful dwell in want. The outer world mirrors the inner conviction. Therefore, train your mind to deposit thoughts of trust and withdraw thoughts of worry. Keep your mental account rich with gratitude and expectancy. The law of faith is as exact as mathematics. When you believe in lack, you draw lack. When you believe in abundance, you draw abundance. But faith must be unwavering to bear fruit. Doubt is the withdrawal slip of the spirit. It cancels divine transactions. One moment of faith can create miracles, but one moment of fear can delay them. The mind must become single-eyed, focused not on appearances but on divine truth. Appearances may deceive, but truth endures. The wise soul knows that what is seen is temporary, and what is unseen is eternal. The unseen is shaped by faith. Fear feeds on imagination misused. It paints pictures of loss, failure, and limitation, and the mind, being creative, begins to bring those images to life. Faith, too, uses imagination, but in divine alignment. It imagines healing, success, and fulfillment, and so it draws these into form. The imagination is the workshop of the soul. Whatever blueprint you hand it, it builds. When you fill it with faith, it constructs miracles. When you fill it with fear, it constructs obstacles. Therefore, discipline the imagination, for it is the architect of your destiny. The most prosperous souls are those who have learned to master fear. They feel it rise, but they do not let it rule. They replace it with a word of power. When fear whispers, "What if you fail?" faith answers, "What if I succeed beyond measure?" When fear says, "You are too late," faith replies, "In divine order, I am right on time." The dialogue of faith must be constant, for fear will always seek a foothold in idle minds. Keep your consciousness busy with truth, and fear will have no room to dwell. Faith also governs health, for the body obeys belief. The one who fears sickness invites it. The one who has faith in divine life sustains vitality. Every cell listens to the language of thought. Speak faith into your body. Say, "Life flows freely through every part of me." The body hears and responds. Speak fear and the body contracts in tension. The energy of faith expands, heals, and uplifts. The energy of fear shrinks, blocks, and weakens. The difference is not in circumstance but in consciousness. Fear is subtle, it disguises itself as caution, realism, or prudence. But beneath its mask it is always doubt and divine supply. The world teaches you to rely on external securities, money, status, possessions. But true security comes only through faith in the unseen source. When outer securities fail, the faithful remain calm, for they know that their supply is spiritual, not material. The fearful panic because their trust was placed in form, not essence. The renewal of faith transfers your investment from the unstable to the eternal, from the fleeting to the infinite. After 50, faith must become your guiding investment strategy. You have seen the ups and downs of life, but you must now see beyond them. Faith teaches that what appears as loss is often preparation for greater gain. When one door closes, the faithful look not at the door but at the hallway of new opportunity beyond it. Fear clings to the door and weeps. Faith walks forward and rejoices. This is how divine dividends are earned, through trust in the unseen profit that follows every seeming setback. Faith also multiplies through gratitude. The more you thank the divine for what you have, the more you receive. Gratitude is faith expressed. Fear is ingratitude disguised. The grateful heart is a magnet for abundance because it focuses on increase. Each moment of sincere thanks expands your vibration of faith and draws supply in perfect form. Say often, "I am divinely guided and provided for. Everything I need comes to me in divine order." These words are seeds of faith, and they will bear fruit in due time. There will always be moments when fear tries to rise, but faith can be trained like a muscle. Each time you choose trust over doubt, you strengthen it. Each time you speak a word of truth over a word of worry, you claim your divine power. Life may test you, but faith turns every test into testimony. Fear builds walls. Faith builds bridges. Fear hoards, faith shares. Fear complains, faith praises. The one who lives by faith becomes a channel for divine flow, and through that channel, blessings never cease. To live in faith is to live in abundance of spirit. It is to walk in harmony with divine law, knowing that nothing truly good can be taken, and nothing truly meant for you can be missed. Fear demands control, but faith rests in divine order. Fear looks to the past and worries for the future. Faith lives fully in the present, where all power dwells. When you master faith, you become the calm in the storm, the light in uncertainty, the vessel through which infinite supply flows without obstruction. Your wisdom is your richest capital. Sow it and abundance will multiply, for wisdom is the gold refined in the furnace of experience. Every trial you have faced, every lesson you have learned, every fall and every rise has added to your spiritual wealth. At 50 and beyond, you stand not at the edge of decline, but at the summit of understanding. You have lived, you have learned, and you have gathered treasures that no bank can store. The world measures wealth in numbers, but the divine measures it in wisdom. For wisdom alone can multiply everything it touches. It is the seed that, once planted, continues to yield harvests without end. The one who hoards wisdom diminishes it, but the one who shares it expands it, and in that expansion lies the secret of true prosperity. Wisdom is the ability to see life through divine eyes. To know that every event, no matter how bitter, served a higher purpose. Many look back on their past with regret, but the wise understand that even their mistakes were teachers in disguise. Every disappointment was a pruning of the soul, cutting away what no longer served, so that new growth could flourish. Wisdom turns pain into power, failure into fuel, and loss into learning. When you view life through that sacred lens, nothing is wasted, and every experience becomes an investment that compounds in understanding and grace. To sow wisdom is to give from your inner abundance. It is to speak words that uplift, to teach what you have learned, and to live as an example of peace and strength. There are countless souls searching for light, and your journey, though marked by struggle, has prepared you to guide them. When you share your wisdom, you align with divine law, for giving and receiving are one. The universe cannot help but return multiplied blessings to the one who serves others with sincerity. A wise word spoken in truth can change a life, and in that transformation, your own path is blessed. The richest investment you can make after 50 is not in material ventures alone but in people, in hearts, in souls. Sow your wisdom where it is needed, among the fearful, the lost, the doubtful, and you will find that life repays you in unexpected ways. A kind word, a patient ear, a shared story can become a key that unlocks another's potential. And as others grow through your guidance, divine law ensures that growth returns to you in health, peace, and prosperity. Wisdom never leaves the giver poorer, it multiplies both the giver and the receiver. The world often teaches that age is limitation, that youth holds the key to innovation and progress, but divine truth says otherwise. The older the soul, the deeper the roots, and the deeper the roots, the greater the fruit. A tree with shallow roots may grow quickly, but falls easily when storms come. You have weathered storms and your wisdom has anchored you in strength. Now, as the world rushes and stumbles, your calm understanding becomes a beacon. When others panic, you see the pattern. When others despair, you perceive the opportunity. This vision is your capital. This perception, trained by years, is your wealth. Sowing wisdom requires faith in its value. Many doubt their worth, believing that what they have learned is too small to matter. Yet the smallest truth sincerely shared can ripple through generations. The candle that lights another loses nothing of its own flame. The universe is structured upon this principle, multiplication through giving. When you share wisdom, you activate this law. The more you pour out, the more flows in. The mind that holds on to its insight stagnates, but the one that gives freely keeps the channels open for greater revelation. Divine intelligence never leaves an empty vessel. It fills every space that faith creates. Wisdom also guides right action. It whispers when to move and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain silent. It saves you from the wastefulness of impulse and the paralysis of doubt. When you trust the quiet voice within, you walk in rhythm with divine timing. Every step is guided, every choice aligned. This inner guidance is worth more than gold, for it prevents loss and leads you to true increase. Those who follow worldly wisdom may gain temporarily, but those who follow divine wisdom gain eternally. The harvest of wisdom is not only wealth but serenity. When you know that divine order governs all things, fear loses its grip. You cease to rush, to grasp, to force outcomes. You understand that everything unfolds in perfect sequence, and this understanding becomes your peace. Peace is prosperity's foundation, for a restless mind cannot create abundance. The calm mind, anchored in wisdom, becomes a clear channel through which divine supply flows easily. When you act from that state, every decision bears fruit, for it is born of clarity, not chaos. Wisdom also transforms relationships. When you see others through the eyes of understanding, conflict dissolves. You realize that every person is walking their own path of learning, just as you have. Judgment fades, compassion grows, and harmony increases. The energy you give in thought and word returns multiplied, so when you sow kindness and patience, you reap support and love. The wise do not react, they respond. They do not seek to be right, they seek to bring light. In doing so, They create environments where peace and prosperity thrive together. Your wisdom is also the map that leads others out of fear. Many younger souls live in confusion, chasing success without purpose. You can show them that true wealth begins within. You can teach by your example that calm is strength, that gratitude is power, that alignment with divine law brings every good thing. To live as an embodiment of wisdom is to preach without words. Your peace becomes a sermon, your grace a lesson, your patience a revelation. Those who encounter you feel uplifted without knowing why, for your energy carries the imprint of understanding. But wisdom must not be kept in memory alone, it must be lived daily. Each moment brings an opportunity to apply it. When faced with uncertainty, remember the lessons life has already taught you. You have seen storms come and go, yet here you stand, stronger for each one. Let that remembrance steady your faith. Use your wisdom to turn every challenge into growth, every delay into preparation, every ending into beginning. The wise see beyond appearances. They see divine order even in disorder. And when it comes to material prosperity, wisdom is the master key. It teaches discernment, when to spend, when to save, when to invest. It teaches patience, for true wealth grows quietly, like roots beneath the soil. It teaches generosity, for giving keeps the flow alive. It teaches contentment, for gratitude multiplies what you already have. The unwise chase riches, the wise attract them by vibration. The unwise fear loss, the wise know that what is truly theirs cannot be taken. Wisdom aligns you with the frequency of abundance, where everything you need arrives in divine timing. Sow your wisdom not only in words but in actions. Let your calm presence bring order where there is chaos. Let your choices reflect faith rather than fear. Let your life become a testimony that peace and prosperity are companions, not opposites. Every act of integrity, every moment of kindness, every thought of truth is a seed planted in the field of the divine. In time, it will bloom into blessings beyond measure. You are no longer a seeker. You are a sower, and the garden you tend with wisdom will feed many souls, including your own.